Thank you. So my name is Justine Coulmy. I'm from Montpellier, like Joanne, in south of France. I'm a cinematographer, and for a few months I work for the École Méliès in Orly, so in the south of Paris, and I helped them to create the training program for VP supervisor. So that's what I'm going to talk now. Just a quick introduction. This is a very quick view of my work as DP. I work on fiction and documentary. And during my study, my cinematography study, I did my master thesis about the challenges for cinematographers in virtual production. It was in between 2020 and 2022. For this research, I joined Les Tontons Truqueurs, which is a virtual production studio in Montpellier. They're working on a big TV soap opera called The Chronicles of the Sun. I think it's the English title. I think today they are shooting the episode number 1800. So they're shooting every day a new episode, and they have a very industrial workflow. And it was very interesting to discover how to build this language to use Unreal Engine on a smooth and efficient way on set. So that's what I learned with the Tonton Truqueur. And here is a picture of the LED stage. And here is the last movie I made as DP with virtual production. It was a biopic of Julia Hill, who was an ecologist militant in the 90s. And she stayed 2 entire years on the top of a giant sequoia without getting down to prevent the sequoia to be cut down. So we shot half of the movie on location in the forest, and the other half on a LED stage with a forest generated in Unreal Engine. It was much more comfortable than the first half of the thing. And both of the stills you can see on the right are shot in the LED stages. But now, just let's focus on the Méliès School in Orly. You can see the founder and the director of the school, Franck Petita. As Anna said, it's more animation and 3D school, but for a few years they want to open to new technologies. And as they were in France one of the first EPIC training center, it was kind of natural to turn to virtual production. They asked me to design the training program for VP supervisor. So I'd like to talk about 4 points today. First, the genesis of the program, to just give you some clue on the context, which make the school able to create this program. Then I'm going to describe it a little more. But I'd like to talk more about the challenge of making the virtual production supervisor recognized as a job in France, because as I'm going to explain, you can't get a real certification if you don't train to a real job. And for the moment, the state doesn't recognize virtual production supervisor as a real job. So this is a big challenge. And then the professional integration of the students. So a few years ago, our president, Emmanuel Macron, just created a big investment plan. I think it's, yes, I wrote it, 54 billion investment plan for industry, technology, innovation, and ecology, but more industry and technology. It's on a lot of different fields. And there were, of course, a huge aspect on the cultural field. And at that time, I joined the work group gathered by the cultural minister At that time, I was still a student in cinematography, and the minister asked us, okay, I have 3 questions. You come from one of the best schools in France. What are your fears now before entering the professional world? What do you think are the gaps in your training? And what could make you leave to work in another country than France? And working on those 3 questions, as I was working already on virtual production, I talked a lot about the fact that we didn't have proper training program in France, and as a DP, I couldn't experiment or train myself to light in such environment. And at that time, some studios were already getting LED stage or tracking technologies, but it was really at the beginning. So the minister decided to give money to studio and school who wanted to get into that technology. So that's how the École Méliès and other schools could created a training program for virtual production. So I won't win to the game who has the biggest LED stage. You have all the spec, but I won't be so long. But actually, it's a very, very nice studio. And it's a previous, because when I had to send the slides to Zoltan 3 weeks ago, the ceiling was not installed yet, but now everything is working. And what we can't really see on this picture is that the LED environment faces a very big green cyclorama. So we can really we can teach every aspect of virtual production and just not working with LED panels. Here are all our partners. It's a very nice studio, and what I want to say is that it's very important for us as a school to stay experiment place, because you know, now the studio is working. We have some proposition and some production who want to rent it for their movie. And as we are a school, we could get the equipment with a lower price than a studio could get. So we could be very competitive on the prices. But it will really not be in the interest of anyone, because the studio around the school are the future employers of our students. So we really don't want to be competitors with them. So we refuse the demand from production, but we are very open to other school or the training programs, or even if companies want to make some tests, we want to stay an experiment place. So here is, for example, the last workshop I directed with La Fémis, which is a very big cinema school in France. It was with the cinematography students, so we did a very basic color rendering comparison. Of course, some car sequence, because as DPs, that's 90% of the work they have to do in virtual production when they leave the school. And also, this exercise was interesting because, you know, La Fémis is very French Nouvelle Vague traditional cinema. So for them, virtual production is just blockbusters and does not really interest them. So it was a challenge to make them understand how it could be useful for low budget production. And here was an exercise. On the right side, it's stills from a short film they shot before the workshop. And we made a very quick photogrammetry of every set they worked in. And then they had 1 day to reshoot every shot of the short film and see how it can be a good tool on a small budget production if you're not sure that you could access to the set you're shooting, or the set has to be destroyed, you can do a quick photogrammetry, and then if you have to do retake, it's not a big expense to do it. So it's just an example. But now let's focus on the Méliès training programs. So actually everything went very quick because the school contacted me last summer and they told me, okay, we're gonna have a virtual production set in the beginning of 2025. We want to develop some programs. What are the new careers that virtual production can offer? So it was, very important to distinguish job who needs to specialize into virtual production, like directors, DPs, or even engineers, to a real new career and new job on a production workflow. So we came with these three new careers: real-time Unreal Engine artist, on-set virtual production operator, and virtual production supervisor. And as virtual production supervisor was the more complex to create because more complete, we decided to start with it first, thinking that after those other careers will be specialization and easier to create. So this is our first cohort. Sorry, who started on the 3rd of February 2025. The training program is a 1-year program. They have 450 hours of courses in the school, and between those weeks of courses, they go into companies to work and learn. They are intern in studios. They are paid by the studio they're working in, and the program is free for the student. Here is the training program. So we have 4 blocks of skills. The first one is, as a lot of speakers before me said, just determine if virtual production is a good solution or not for a project, and which tools, more LED wall, green screen. So they have this knowledge and production budget, reglementation of production knowledge to be able to advise at best the crew before choosing virtual production. Then they have a lot of courses to learn how to manage the pre-production process with the creation of immersive environments. They have a lot of very technical courses to learn every technology on the set. And then they also have more artistic workshop to learn how to blend, the limit between real and virtual. So yeah, that's 450 hours of class. For the profiles of the applicants, we decided to not have an entrance exam because, you see, when I watched this first cohort, the 2 of our best students have very, very different profile. I mean, one just leave cinema school and has a lot of experience on set and want to specialize in it. And the other one had a lot of training on Unreal Engine. And for example, the first day he asked me what was a cinematographer. So you see that both have nothing in common and both are very good candidates for the training program and bring a lot to each other. So that's why there's no entrance exam, and we prefer to take the time to examine all the application and the resume and do interview with those people. And so the process of the application is I was talking about. And if I see that they have a good background and everything they need to be comfortable and follow the courses. The condition to enter the program is to find a contract with the studio to be able, to have this training, to have a training contract with the studio. And this is the hardest part because, as someone mentioned before, studio want people already trained. So this is a very hard part. And just to say that we also develop short-term training programs. For the moment, it's more for film crews, so set designers, cinematographers, camera assistants, gaffers, and producers. And we like to develop more short-term programs. So, as I said before, oh, good, I have enough time to talk about the main challenge I had was to, and I'm still working on it, is to make the virtual production supervisor career as an official and real career recognized by the state. To do so in France, you have to do two different things. The first one is kind of opportunity study, and you have to show figures showing that virtual production is a very, very big industry, which is hard. As it was very hard, to find these precise figures, I had to get a lot of letters from studio and companies using virtual production. But some of them were not really willing to help us because, once the job will be officially recognized, it will enter in the labor agreement. So there will be a minimum salary for VP supervisor. And for the moment, companies are playing with the fact that there's not a real title in the labor agreement. They can choose whatever look more or less to VP supervisor, and most of the time less than more in the salary. So it was the hard part in the opportunity study. And the other part is that you have to describe very, very precisely all the tasks that a VP supervisor does every day. So with such evolving position, it's very, very hard to get a good 5 minutes? No, it's okay. Really? I can't see you. It's really, yes, what I was saying, how to describe an evolving job, and you have to be precise enough because if you just say a virtual production is just about mixing a virtual and real environment, the state could say, no, that's what a VFX supervisor is already doing. We reject your application. But if you were too precise, the application becomes very quickly obsolete because the job is moving so fast. So that's the hard, that's what I wrote here. That's what's hard in the process of making it recognized. But I would be very happy to share if some of you had to do the same job in their country, because I think this is a thing we could share and have a common and international, oh, good. We talk after, definition of the job. And as I was saying, the other difficult part is that we really want to keep the program free. So we have to stick to the system that the student must find a company to train on the same time that he learns. And it's very hard because even if companies say we need more trained people, they just want already trained. So it's hard to find company who can accept them. And then for the professional integration, the challenge is that I think, and other VP supervisors think, that a good VP supervisor is a freelance or independent and is not an employee of a studio, because this is the only way that you can provide very independent perspective and advice on which technology is the best for the project. So this system of training forces the student to spend one entire year with the studio, and at the end, it's harder, to start as a freelancer because you learned a lot of the technology of one studio, and there is sometimes a lot of NDAs. So this is a challenge with the professional integration of our students. So the only way is to give them during the courses the wider perspective on the existing technology. It's my last slide. The evolution of the program, as I said, we have 450 hours of courses. It's very condensed with all the things we try to teach, and both students and teachers would like it to be longer, to have more time. So maybe we could try to turn it to a 2 years program. As I come from cinema, I realized that I really focus on cinema applications of virtual production, and maybe it will be better for the professional integration of the student that we just explore topics and industry around cinema, and we'd like to have more partnership with other schools. So I'm very happy to be here and to talk with you. Thank you.